just die. Jump down here. Hit this door a couple times. There we go, once this checkpoint done.
We could use the side passages to find a way around.
Alright, so basically what he said is we have to go on the other side. Or on the other side. So, doors... Here, I want to show this real quick before I get back into my discussion. God, dang it, I hit the cloak. Cloaking, by the way, makes you invisible for a short period of time. Any door that looks like this is openable. Any door that looks like that is locked. Okay. So the Forerunner... Well, actually, let me introduce the other races. There is a... I told you that the Covenant is broken up into a caste system, and that the elites are basically on the top. Well, there's one race above them. They're called the Sanshum. I don't know exactly how it's pronounced, but I believe it's S-A-N''SHYUUM. So I'm not 100% sure on how it's pronounced. However, that's my best shot. They are known as the Prophets, for any of you who are familiar with this term.
Chief,
they are the religious leaders of the Covenant. Now, they're physically very weak. However, they are... I'm sorry for talking over Cortana. I actually didn't mean to. I was kind of just caught up in my own tangent. Thank you for dying. Kind of gonna take cover in here real quick. Alright. Hey, look at that. I had not meant to walk into these guys at all. That arrow, by the way, is pointing us to where we need to open the door to let the Marines in. However, I'm gonna chill and kill some Covenant real quick. Hey, that rhymed. I did not mean to do that either. Okay. So the Sanshum basically make up the highest part of the Covenant caste system, with, of course, the Grunts and the Jackals being the lowest. So, hold on. I just fought off 40 ninjas in my front yard. Let's continue. Okay. So the Sanshum, they are not the military leaders. They leave that up to the elites, who are physically much stronger. And in the original Covenant, which was formed by the Sanshum and the Sangheli, it was stated that the elites would protect the Prophets. Now, the reasons for this is that there was actually a war between the elites. Did that door just open? It may have, because I heard a Marine yell, yikes. There was actually a war between the elites and the Prophets. Basically what the war was over was... Good, I'm not muted. Sorry, I just wanted... I am... Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it! Anyway... There go those guys. Let my shield recharge real quick. So basically what ended up happening is that they had a squabble over Forerunner technology, and of course the Forerunners are no longer here. The Prophets believed that Forerunner technology was left for them to use, and so they used it in a way that bettered their military and basically bettered their race. So they had large Forerunner ships, they incorporated shields into their ships, things like that. And they also had the Forerunner technology that you're looking at right now. I'm actually wielding Forerunner technology. Yes, all Covenant technology is repurposed Forerunner technology. Anyway, the elites believed that Forerunner technology were artifacts, and
We should get moving.
Alright, everybody stay cool. Yell if you see anything.
hope you guys realize why I killed that Marine. Anyway, so the elites believed that foreign artifacts were holy, that they were not to be touched, but they were to be studied, but they were not to be used for any sort of military or use like that. So, of course you can see where the friction is. I mean, one side calling the other blasphemous and the other side defending itself, basically. And, you know, the defenders... There really is no defender or right cause here. I mean, from both sides they were right, but really in the end there was no right answer. Since the Foreigners were just another race, they were not gods as the Covenant worshipped them to be, but I'll get into that later. Which I'm promising to get into a lot of things later. One of which are coming up too soon. Okay. So, this room should actually be where we get into the hunters. Okay. Go those guys. Alright, show off the Needler here. This thing's excruciatingly powerful, and again, remember, it fires needles and sticks into the enemy. Okay. So, the resulting war, basically the elites lost. Despite the fact that they're physically stronger, In the air, they just could not match up to the fact that Foreigners had much better ships. Which, I mean, in a space war, I'm just gonna not move forward until I'm done talking. In a space war, ships in space are the key decider, you know. So in all ground battles, the elites won, but in all space battles, which are most of the battles, the prophets won. So they ended up coming to an agreement known as the Covenant, which basically said, okay, prophets, you study the artifacts and figure out how to make them better for us, and elites, you figure out, like, you protect us. You know, you be the militaristic rulers, and of course they've absorbed different races that they've conquered. Now that may lead to the question, why aren't humans being conquered and absorbed in? Well, it's because we actually have foreigner technology on our planets, and so that leads the prophets, who think that we are someone powerful, to be jealous of our power and want to kill us. Okay, so I lost my train of thought. I had a good point. Gosh darn it, I hate it when I do that. And just skip ahead if you don't want to listen to all this lore. But I hope some of you find it interesting, and even if one person finds it interesting, I'm going to keep talking. You can just skip ahead. It's not all that difficult. Trust me, I do it all the time. Okay, oh yeah, okay, so what happened to Foreigners? Well, I'm not going to get into the enemy that they had, but they had a very bad enemy. And basically what ended up happening is this enemy was created when humanity and the Foreigners went to war. Now, it wasn't just humanity who went to war with the Foreigners, it was also the prophets who went to war with the Foreigners, but at the time they were not known as prophets, they were just known as Sanshium. This war, it was basically over. I actually can't remember what it's over. I'll talk about it in the next video. I'll look it up and talk about it. So yeah, what ended up happening is humanity found the way to beat this enemy of the Foreigners, but the Foreigners beat us back, destroyed us, de-evolved us to a primitive state. Again, not going to get into that. And that was it. We're done. I mean, the farthest we ever got was back to like steam power and hot air balloons, you know, instead of like space flight and terraforming worlds, which is basically where we were at. So the Foreigners, weakened by their war with humanity, perished because of the enemy that they had, and left behind all these different rings. The Halo rings were designed to wipe out all sentient life in the galaxy, which we'll get into why anyone would want to do that later on. Alright, that is all the lore, and again, I'm sorry for dying so much. Now I'll focus on gameplay. There's that guy. Okay. We're going to be getting into hunters here again, so I want to give a little bit of talk about them. I probably shouldn't have got that health back now, by the way. It's best when there's health back available to wait until after the battle, just in case you take more damage. But I don't know. I've just been taking a lot of damage. I wanted to have a couple extra hits. Should be an elite in this group. Anyway, hunters. Their native name is the Lek Golo. They're actually not one creature as it looks like. I mean, they're the giant armor-covered creatures. They're actually a colony of worms, those are known as the Lek Golo. And it's not how you pronounce it. I think how you actually pronounce it is Lek Golo. But I just say Lek Golo so you guys kind of get to have the pronunciation of it. It's L-E-K-G-O-L-O. That's how you spell it. Okay. Alright. So the hunters, or the Lek Golo, were brought into the Covenant because, well, foreigner technology was found on the planet. But here's the catch: the Lek Golo eat metal. Like they eat like the alloys that make up metal. And so, of course, since space age stuff is made of metal, the foreigners, or the Lek Golo, had dissolved the Forerunner ruins. And so, at first, the Covenant declared blasphemy and all this. You know, all that fun stuff. But then eventually, the Covenant found that they could not beat them because the Lek Golo infested their ships, destroyed them, and honestly, they just reproduced too fast for anyone to destroy. So instead, they used the Lek Golo to their advantage. Now, how do they do so? Well, they turn them into warriors, first of all. That's just one form. Their normal form is just the worms, which they use actually for repair in tiny places. Because think about it. Having a worm that is trained to do your bidding, is intelligent, basically a sentient life form, and can get into tiny areas where microscopic damage might be done to a ship, that's pretty valuable.